So today we're reacting to Thomas and the Pony Show. So this will be interesting. So let's get started, shall we?
To all those people watching, I'd like to remind everyone that this video is not made for kids. It's for older fans and adults. Enjoy the fucking video.
I don't say that word. Oh, no way!
Over the years, Thomas the Tank Engine would befriend some of these passengers whenever he travels up and down his branch line with Annie and Clarabelle. One of these passengers was a girl named Becky, who lives at a nearby farm at Hackenbeck. She would often be seen on the platform with her mother whenever they caught the train. Often at times, Thomas would see Becky with her pony Barnaby in a field close to the line. He would see Barnaby jumping over poles, hay, empty oil cans and bins. "What is he doing?" he asked his driver. "Looks like Becky is training Barnaby for the upcoming pony show at Fox's Field next week," replied his driver. "That's why she has all that stuff around that field, so Barnaby can train so he could be best in show." Thomas was impressed. He wanted to give Becky a whistle of good luck, but was careful not to because he might have frightened Barnaby by accident. During the day towards the show, Thomas would pass Fox's Field and would watch the workmen setting up for the pony show. "They don't look like the stuff that Becky was using." His driver laughed and explained that they were from the people who had run the show. Thomas smiled. Then he thought, "I wish I could see the pony show myself. It would be great to see Becky and Barnaby on." Later he pulled into the station and found Becky standing on the platform. "Hi, Thomas," she called as she waved. "Hi, Becky. You were coming for a ride?" "Sorry, not today. I'm here with my dad who had taken our horse box to the mechanics. It's suffering from engine trouble," sighed Becky. "Oh dear," replied Thomas worriedly. "I hope your dad gets it sorted out soon. It would be terrible if you missed out on the pony show." Becky agreed, but then she had a thought. "If the horse box is not sorted out, I might get my dad to have you to take us to the show." "That would be a great idea," agreed Thomas. "But you have to get permission from the Fat Controller first." Well, he and Dad knew each other in school many years ago, so perhaps it might work out. Just then, Becky's dad pulled up at the station. "Becky," he called as he honked the horn. "The horse box is fixed." "Well, that's good," replied Becky happily. "Guess the idea of having you to take us is off the table." "Oh, well," replied Thomas. "At least you won't have to worry now about missing the show, and that's important." Becky smiled.
I'm glad I handled that.
The day of the show had arrived, and at the farm, Becky and her father had placed Barnaby into the horse box. After that, her dad started the lorry, but he couldn't get it to start. "What the?" he gasped. "She was just fixed up the other day." He tried again and again, but the engine just kept stalling. Becky and her mother were worried. "Come on, you can do it," grunted her father. Then finally the horse box was brought to life. "Right, let's go." And off they went to Fox's Field.
Something's gonna happen.
But their celebration was short-lived as they rolled along the country road.
Oh no, that's not good. Oh, see, I called it!
Becky's dad was trying to start up the engine again, but it was no use. The horse box had broken down. "We'll have to get help, but who knows how long they will take to get here," sighed the father. "I'm sorry, Becky. Looks like we'll miss out this year." Poor Becky was sad. Meanwhile, Thomas was puffing down the branch line with his passengers who were to attend the pony show. It was a beautiful day with the sun shining with some clouds in the sky. "Just the weather for a pony show," he said to himself happily. But then he spotted Becky's horse box on the side of the road. Thomas could see Becky's dad looking over his horse box while Becky's mum comforted her daughter. "What happened?" asked Thomas. "It looks as though they are broken down," said Thomas's driver. "What?" Thomas replied, shocked. "But that's not fair. Becky had been training hard with Barnaby. She can't miss the show. We must help her." "I know, Thomas, but we have a timetable to keep, and we don't have room at Annie and Clarabelle for Barnaby." Back at the horse box, Becky and her parents were still waiting for help as they were feeding Barnaby at the back. Meanwhile, Sir Stephen Topham Hatt was driving down the country road.
Ooh.
He was on his way to the horse show with his wife and spotted the broken down horse box.
This might turn out great after all.
I say, Joseph, what happened to that horse box of yours? He called out as he parked his car. Joseph, Becky's dad, looked up and was surprised to see Stephen. I'm surprised to see you here. Well, I'm on my way to see your daughter attending the show, but I can see you're having trouble with your horse box. Then Joseph told him what happened. Becky saw the two talking to each other and then remembered her idea that she told Thomas the other day. She raced down towards them and said, "Please, sir, could you arrange one of your engines to take Barnaby for us? Please?" Then Sir Stephen smiled. "Why, of course it can be arranged. It wouldn't be worth it to attend the pony show and see that you're not there. Anyway, Thomas would have pulled into the station up the line from here. I'll contact the station master there to delay the train." So he got his phone out and the station master picked up the phone on the other end. Sir Stephen then explained everything. "Certainly, sir. I'll tell the signalman to hold him up." And he did. Thomas was wondering why they were being delayed. "I have passengers to take to the show," he grunted. Then he felt a bump. He was surprised. "What was that?" "It's only me." Percy laughed as he carefully placed a horse box behind Clarabelle. Everyone was confused. Then the guard came towards Thomas's driver and explained about Sir Stephen making arrangements to deliver Becky and Barnaby to the show, while Joseph waits for Butch. Thomas was pleased to help. Then Becky and her mother arrived at the station. All the waiting passengers were dazed and surprised. "Most unusual," said one of them. Barnaby was placed inside the horse box and Becky and her mother sat down in the back.
Well, that worked out.
Field, and Becky and Barnaby made their way to the starting point just in time. "Thank goodness," sighed Thomas as he heard one of the judges calling out Becky's name. While Thomas watched, Barnaby jumped a clear round. Everyone clapped and cheered, and Thomas whistled excitedly. But before the results were announced, Thomas puffed away to do his work.
Oh, we won't know.
"I hope Becky wins. I hope," he said to himself.
We won't know. Tell me that's not the end.
He carried on
good.
his work, but he hadn't seen Becky all day.
Oh.
The next day, Thomas saw Becky on the platform with Barnaby and her mother alongside. Thomas could see that Barnaby was wearing a big red rosette. "Thomas!" cried Becky excitedly. "We won the show!" "Congratulations, Becky!" replied Thomas happily. Then Becky explained that after the show, the horsebox lorry was repaired and they went home and that without any further problem. Then Becky showed Thomas a yellow rosette. "What's that one for?" he asked. "It's for you," replied Becky. "This is as a thank you for helping us in times of need." Thomas smiled.
That is so sweet! Well, that's all for today's videos, guys. This is K-Bear 101 signing out. Have a good night and have a good, awesome evening, everybody.